Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matt Pfeiffer. This is Conversations on Retail, and we are here this afternoon with Sean Riley, the co-founder and CEO of Dude Products. Sean, I know you're really busy, and we've worked hard to get this on the calendar. Thank you so much for making time to do this today.
Yeah, of course, Matt. Glad to finally get it going.
Yeah, I know you've told the Dude Wipes and now Dude Products story 100 times, and anybody that really wants to go deep into that story can find it on YouTube, all kinds of different places. So I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about best friends and the apartment and all those sorts of things, but I do think it's important to spend a little bit of time. If you could just give us kind of the Reader's Digest version of the founding of the company up to the point of your appearance on Shark Tank, I think that'd be a great place to start.
Yeah, for sure. The founding of the company was definitely not like a big launch or not guys with kind of venture capital backgrounds or CPG or e-commerce or anything like that. So more just friends trying to get a company off the ground and with a product to do it with was Dude Wipes. And kind of our aha moment was living in the toilet paper or living in the apartment together, using toilet paper. I bought baby wipes, guys were getting hooked on them very quickly. So that was like our, product aha moment. Okay, this could be something. Why don't we see other brands in the space, et cetera? So Dude Wipes was like a brand first company. So, we really built the brand almost before the product. Like, how can this brand be different? How could it walk and talk and, be completely different than anything we see in the toilet paper aisle? So really just consumers building a product and a brand for ourselves, which at the end of the day is not things that big companies do. It's really only things that like startup and small companies do, kind of that classic model, like solving a problem for ourselves and building something that we ourselves would want to buy. So, customers from the beginning and still always trying to wear the customer hat, now. So we got our first batch of Dude Wipes made, which were individually wrapped. Dude Wipes, actually, I keep this on my desk. This is the first prototype there, so you could see how legit we were from the get-go. And we get these 4 pallets of products. We, load them up in the spare bedroom and just kind of start trying to figure out the industry, selling them out of the trunks of our cars. How do we get this thing off the ground and how do we get it going? And e-commerce is a place where, of course, it's a free marketplace. So, you can launch without the gated walls of retail. And so that's where we leaned into, and particularly on Amazon, and kind of, $100,000 the first year, $250,000 the second year, $1.5 million the third year. And that's that year, that we're on Shark Tank. And that's the year that, Kroger brings us into the toilet paper aisle, the first, big retailer to kind of actualize this dream we had of disrupting toilet paper. Kind of before then, we were just doing it online and not really, in retail. So that's the quick version of those first couple years.
That's great. And so, Shark Tank obviously was a successful. It was a great experience for you all. Tremendous publicity, great partnership with Mark Cuban going forward. So what did your growth look like at brick and mortar retail from that point forward? Was it shock and awe? Was it explosive growth, or did you just continue to just pick up, gain steam a little bit at a time?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. It was good growth, but it was more like 100% growth, kind of. So the next year,
on a small base.
Yeah, on a small base. So pretty controlled growth. From we are still growing the company with capital from the banks and stuff like that. So there's only so much you can grow, in a year, doing that and reinvesting the company and building it organically. It's not like we had, $10 million come in and, we can supercharge this growth and put it to work. So we always call our growth like real organic growth. We have real customers. We're not out there buying them in bulk or playing games or gimmicking. We're just, brick by brick kind of people stacking up customers, all along the way. And then, there's a couple years in there where the growth supercharges a little bit still organically, but like, when Walmart comes on board, that's a big mover of toilet paper products. So when they bring on Dude Wipes, in all doors, that's kind of a big new customer. That's more like a 3x year and stuff like that. And then COVID was a big growth year for us with all kind of that toilet paper shortage and everything like that.
Well, and so what did your relationship with Walmart look like? Was it a couple of DCs to start? Was it online to start? Talk about how you got into every door at Walmart.
Yeah, we did it through the Made in the USA Summit, that they have annually. So it was the second year in a row we went down there to present at that summit. The first year, they didn't think the brand was quite ready for Walmart, and then the next year, they were really excited about it, and they hand you that green ticket, and they're like, "Hey, you get a deal. You're one of the companies that we're going to launch to support USA manufacturing this year." So that was 1,000 store test with some sidekicks at Walmarts across the country. So that was executed pretty quick. I think we were down there in like June or July, and those sidekicks were in the doors by October. So they wanted to try it like that, and they saw good sell through, good reactions. We were growing in rest of market too. So then when their planogram was actually resetting for the aisle, which was kind of the spring of the next year, that's where the buyer just said, "I'm going to try it in all stores." So he didn't mess around after he had that test, wanted to just put it everywhere and just see how the consumer reacts and understand. I think that's one thing Walmart does well. It's like, do we have a winner or loser? Figure it out. And they don't care if they launch something in all stores and it doesn't work, because they're trying to find things that work. So, that was how they went about it. And so yeah, it was within less than a year of that pitch at Made in the USA, we were in all Walmart doors with 2 SKUs.
Wow. Well, so 2 questions. One is, was there any kind of expectation on Walmart's part or on the part of any of your retailing partners that you would be investing in marketing, and what does that investment look like? Yeah, I'm very familiar with the work that you've done on YouTube and social media. It's brilliant creatively, but I'm just wondering if there were ever any sort of strings that were attached to that rapid growth. And the second question I have is with respect to your supply chain and just keeping up, going from 2x growth and 3x growth. How have you been able to keep up with it?
Yeah. I mean, on the marketing expectations, of course, retailers want you to support them. Walmart being an everyday low priced retailer, and their .com back then wasn't quite as active as it was. Doesn't have as many kind of strings attached to a launch, but we are really trying to reinvest a decent percentage of revenue with any major customer into trade marketing. So what we've done with Walmart over the years is a lot of free asks, where we're giving away free samples in Walmarts, acquiring new people to this habit and this brand, and then, merching our product. So we've invested a lot with sampling inside their doors with their customers to help drive it. And then also, as their .com has grown, we're very active on their .com, like we would be with Amazon or someone else with the retail media side. So, always on with the marketing on any retailer we're into their trade marketing, and then we kind of have the separate budget, the fun stuff, the YouTube stuff, the sponsorships, commercials, to build the brand outside of their doors. So that's our pitch, is that, hey, we're going to be building the brand inside of your doors and also outside of your doors.
Well, a couple of areas where I really wanted to spend the bulk of our time together. And by the way, I'm going to be real respectful of your busy schedule and keep this right to 30 minutes. So if anybody has questions, go ahead and jump in with those now. But the first area that I wanted to touch on is, category disruption. And at what point do you feel like the incumbent brands within the category begin to take notice? When did they begin to take you seriously? And in what ways did they respond? And at what point did they start to respond?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they really care too much until, you're out there taking a few percentage points, I'd say at minimum in Nielsen or something like that. We're way ahead of the curve on Amazon. But the competitors, so we sell much more than Charmin in this category. So, a household name in toilet paper, we sell much more than them on the flushable wipe side. So I would venture to say they don't care about the category, because if they did, they would be, reinvesting in it more and growing more. And their market share wouldn't look the way that it looks. So I think that's a category that they feel like they have to be in, but they're not like super bullish on it. Or Cottonelle, really cares about the category and, is a huge player in our category. So they're the ones, taking us more seriously and trying to, we're keeping up with each other, both trying to drive innovation, but like they came out with a Cottonelle XL, a year or two ago, which is kind of in direct response to our positioning from the get-go being an extra large flushable wipe. So I would say that was the first time we were like, oh, okay, like somebody has actually made a wipe the size of ours, who's a big CPG conglomerate. Like they're obviously, A, caring about us, but B, caring about the customers, like understanding that customers like that solution and then that they need to be in the customer solution game too.
So that awakening, if you will, that the competitor, looking at you more closely and taking more seriously and making some moves on their own, has that caused you to move faster as you've iterated within the kind of the primary line?
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to move fast. So that's just been, and that's what a Walmart buyer told me several years ago. He said, don't ever lose the ability to move fast, because as soon as you do, you're just like the rest of these guys I'm meeting. Like your ability to take my feedback and make a new count or make a new scent or do some innovation and turn it around in 6 months is why I want to work with brands like you. So, where we say if you ain't first, you're last. So we're always trying to move fast and innovate for sure. I mean, in terms of the category, we kind of have an abundant mindset about the category in terms of that there's just growth for everybody, because it's only about 30% of the population is currently using this product. So we're early in the adoption curve of this category. And, places that all the big players think we can go is close to 80%. Obviously, toilet paper is at like 100%, category adoption. So we still think it's like day one, and that all of the major players like ourselves are just going to continue to grow. But our focus to only care about this category and not care about toilet paper or, other things allows us to kind of like innovate in a vacuum and pride ourselves on trying to be the best.
Well, but you are iterating though, right? I mean, you've got the bidet attachment and you've got the face and body products now. Dude gear. That's not really, I wouldn't put that in the same area. But you have gotten out of the pure play white business.
Yeah, a little bit. We call that stuff science lab stuff, though. If it all disappeared tomorrow, we wouldn't care. So
it's not a meaningful part of your business.
Focused we are, on the mission and what we're trying to do. But when we find things that the customer likes, we'll grow them. And I don't mean to poo-poo a standalone $1 million business, because when I was, starting off, that would have made me jump out of bed and scream. But as the company grows, we got to continue to make sure we pay attention to who we are, and the genesis of what we started was always to disrupt toilet paper. So those things are fun, and we're trying to please customers and stuff, but we're not too focused on it.
Great question here from Matt that I'm gonna give you. It says, I'd love to hear Sean comment on the importance of Dude wipes driving high sales volume per shelf inch versus that of toilet paper. So in terms of side counter productivity, talk about your importance to the retailer in that respect.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we drive more dollars per like linear inch, than toilet paper. Just toilet paper is a big bulky product that doesn't cost that much. And this category also drives more profitability. So I think when you combine those two things, it's why retailers are leaning into like innovating the category, building out more space. So I would say the best people in this category in retail are the ones who've like rolled up their sleeves on the real estate, standpoint and said, hey, we're going to remodel 2,000 Kroger aisles so like the flushable wipes can have more facings and stuff. And the guys who are not doing well in this category are just, these people are busy and that may not be their priority. So they haven't revamped the real estate in a way to capitalize on it yet, but you're kind of seeing, and you can see the Nielsen data will show you that people who kick ass in the flushable wipes category, well, you go into their store and you see why they do. It's more to do with the retailer than necessarily the customer. The customer wants it, but if you give them more selection, like they'll buy. But I will say in this COVID world with toilet paper, also toilet paper real estate has become more valuable because that's you can stock more, and you really want to have it available for the customer. So kind of when all the toilet paper ran out, that real estate, they probably started looking at it under a different microscope, saying, well, that's precious real estate too. So toilet paper is big business as well.
Well, I hadn't intended to ask that question, but I wish I would have. How has COVID impacted your business? And what I mean by that is, have you faced the same degree of supply chain pressure as the toilet paper manufacturers have? Have you been able? Have you had an easier time of keeping up with it?
Yeah, I mean, we've had an easier time just because a smaller footprint, so
Right.
we were able to serve who we serve like really well. Where if you're Kimberly Clark, you're serving the entire globe, and like something like that happens, and it's just tough, right? What we said is we're going to support anybody who has dude wipes in their modular, and so throughout COVID, there's several pictures in Target where the only thing in the entire aisle is dude wipes. There's no toilet paper. There's no other brands of flushables. There's only dude wipes. So, we really took care of our customers. And with that, the consumer, we saw a catalyst and kind of category adoption. So of course you see this huge spike when everyone was, pantry stocking, but when the world came back to normal, the new normal was higher than the old normal. And that's because 7 out of 10 people who try our category adopted to it. So just that hyper moment in category adoption. And now our business like looks night and day than it did before, which is definitely kind of speaks for A, the category, and B, the quality of product, that we put out, that it has that kind of retention.
I was in the local in Bentonville in the Sam's Club this morning, and for the first time in many months, saw a sign with the paper towels and the toilet paper that said, limiting one per member, one per transaction. And so are you starting to see that same sort of pantry loading, stockpiling, and anticipation of supply chain shortages that the media keeps talking about?
No, we haven't seen anything to the degree, that you saw in March and April of 2020, and then a little bit in November of 2022. Those were the two moments in time. So I would say we are not seeing like pantry stocking. I think retailers aren't getting as much product as they want. So I think they're trying to manage, their supply and not be in a situation like that. But stuff here made in the USA, which, we're proud to do, is I think pretty readily available, in my opinion. If it's a widget that you make in China and, you're waiting for your shower handle, like that you bought from somebody over there, like that may be 3 months out or whatever, but like consumable stuff's coming out of the US, I personally think is in a good position.
Well, in a lot of companies, even though their product is manufactured or assembled in the States, they've got packaging components that they rely on an overseas partner to, so that creates a little bit of a little bit of a slowdown. Yeah. So we're gonna be wrapping up the next 8 or 9 minutes. So if anyone else has any questions, now is definitely the time to ask. And I want to talk to you about, what does the future look like? And there must be, and obviously you're not going to share anything that you can't share. But what's the future look like? At what point do you become enough of a disruptor and a meaningful percentage of the category that one of the bigger incumbent brands would try to take you out? And is that something that you can envision in the future, or do you want to keep the company forever?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something you can't kind of predict how these different people will react and everything. So we always just, stay focused on the day-to-day mission. And we always say we build the company like we will hold it forever. So that means reinvesting into product and technology and not, pump and dumping schemes. So we're trying to build a solid skyscraper, that's drilled 50 feet into the ground, not something that's built on sand because we expect somebody to come and, take it away from us. So we're just trying to reinvest and make the best company we can. And I'm not a smart enough guy to know, what these big companies, think of us or what they'll do in the future. But, of course, if a situation is right for the customer and is right for us to expand growth, whether that's like venture capital or, a big CPG, those are always things we have to think about But right now we're having fun doing what we do, and
Yeah.
we think we can continue to do it on our own. So that's the plan right now.
Yeah. And I hope you'll forgive my ignorance, but is the flushable wipe category, were you the first in, or were you just the first one to tell the story and develop the brand the way that you did?
Well, the way I like to put it, we're the first native brand to the flushable wipe category. So
Okay.
we're the first brand that's built in this category that says this brand means this category. Cottonelle invented the category in the late 90s as a line extension from toilet paper. So that's why they're the biggest player in the category. They do it very well, and they also invented it. But we're the first guys to come into this category and say, like, this is the brand, it means this category, and we're here to grow it without kind of that other toilet paper business and bureaucracy, to worry about.
I had a great conversation yesterday with Judy Podolek, or a couple days ago, actually. It was on Tuesday. And the question I asked her was, is there anything that you need help with? Because obviously we have a lot of people watching that would have expertise in supply chain optimization, shopper marketing, shopper insights, all these different areas. Are there any areas within your business that you really need some help, and where you wouldn't mind to hear from folks?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking to talk to smart people. I think e-commerce and the digital landscape is something, our company was built on. So we're trying to do that, better than everybody else. So kind of the omni-channel media attribution, kind of how all these things work together is a big kind of like complex data thing that we're always trying to figure out and get better at. So, that's one area that we're always looking into, because we're investing a lot of dollars into there. And the more we can understand how all of that is doing, besides the, direct conversion that we can see, kind of the more bullish we can get on it. So we're always looking for a reason to pour gasoline, on the fire more than we are. Or anybody who, has innovation in sustainable packaging around wet wipes is something, we're looking into as well.
Yeah. Good stuff. Last question I have for you. You and your friends never set out to be consumer product entrepreneurs, and you've been in the game for a long time now. I'm wondering, is it as much fun now as it was at the beginning, and have the partners remained as close of friends in the process?
Yeah, I mean, the beginning is definitely different, right? Like it's kind of a different. It's a lot of fun because you don't know anything, but it's a lot of, are we going to have a business, in 3 months and 6 months and stuff like that. So I would say it's definitely more fun now just because of that aspect. There's kind of like an adrenaline rush during that time, though, that has its own appeal. But it's definitely fun now to kind of, be where we are and doing the things we want to do. And we're able to do all these things that we more or less talked about. So to me, that's a little more fun than like the gasping for air, sort of early entrepreneur phase. And all the guys, we're still good buddies, but we have a much bigger team now, so it's not really about that anymore. It's about the brand and the greater team.
Sean Riley, co-founder and CEO of Dude Products, thank you so much for making time to do this. And I hope that you'll reach out if there's anything that we can do to help you and your team continue to find success. We'd be delighted to be a part of your story. Thank you so much for making the time to do this, and I hope you all have a great day.